Hello there! Thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today, and I'm Pete Howard. And this is an original advertising concert poster for the 1963 Newport Folk Festival. And boy, was this an important event on so many levels, not least of which it's the weekend that made Bob Dylan a star. Last weekend in July of 1963, right in the summertime there in Newport, Rhode Island, and just a lovely, quaint, if you will, advertising piece that was posted around, the area leading up to the weekend and the shows. So now this artwork, I'll give it a little bit of a top to bottom here. This was actually done by Eric von Schmidt. As a matter of fact, his name is along the purple hat up here at the top, if you can see that. He signed it there rather prominently, and he was, of course, a prominent folk artist in his own right, as well as a graphic artist. Matter of fact, Eric von Schmidt, concert poster, Dylan. This is von Schmidt's most famous, which you're very familiar with, this famous image from '65 with Dylan and Baez, which was is really popular among collectors. Wasn't used that widely, but it's a very familiar image. So von Schmidt did this a couple of years previously, and it's really catchy. As you can see, it's got nice green and purple colors. In fact, that plus the white of the paper comprises the three colors that were used, and it's got the nice, smiling person motif on there and stuff. And von Schmidt was quite a creative artist, as well as I said, a folk singer. This measures a little tough to get in the frame. I guess I could always talk about it this way. Measures about 9 by 24 inches. So sort of it would go well, I suppose, on telephone poles, among other things. Truly a telephone pole poster. So you've got all the acts, besides the top artwork, all the acts listed there in those 4 colorful ovals, which is pretty cool. Now there's 40 acts, and so obviously I'm not going to read them to you. As a matter of fact, there were 70 acts performed that weekend, but this has 40 of them, certainly the most prominent names. But the ethos of these folk festivals and the folk movement in general, but especially this festival and so forth, was to not single out any stars or run the star trip or anything. Folk music belonged to people and to history and everything, and so that was the promoter's intent, and this poster really reflects that. So everybody's in the same type size, and if I can get in there, if you can see right there in the top green oval, you've got Dylan's name, the second line. Am I right about that, Pete? Yep, second line. Dylan's name, and right before him you've got Canadian fiddler Joan. I hope that got that pronunciation right, followed by the composer of Blowin' in the Wind, which was in the national top 10 thanks to Peter, Paul and Mary this very weekend at the time of this show. So and yet in the same type font, so everybody gets the same font. And then speaking of Peter, Paul and Mary, they're in the second purple oval there. You can see that along with oh, I'm sorry. Peter, Paul, and Mary are actually still in the green one with Dylan. That's it. That's why I couldn't see them. So you've got Dylan and PPM in the top oval. In the purple one, the second one there, you've got Judy Collins, John Lee Hooker, and Doc Watson. So those are 3 prominent names. In the third green oval there, you've got Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, and Mother Maybelle Carter. Now those are all evening shows. In the fourth oval, that purple one there, that's the daytime on Sunday, so general admission is just $2. And the hitters are a little, not quite of Dylan's stature, but you do have Ian and Sylvia and Dave Van Ronk, So, and then below that, it does say tickets $2, $3, $4, and $5 with all seats reserved. And then interestingly, I did turn this sideways earlier, in that light purple strip along the side there, it does say plus 20 morning and afternoon panels and workshops, which of course is how folk festivals worked, and you can get some real surprises at those things, including, yes, Dylan showed up at 1 or 2. And then down at the bottom there in the green area, below the ovals, you have the typical information: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, July 26, 27, and 28, Freebody Park, Newport, Rhode Island. And then in small black print it also adds, send mail orders to Newport Folk Festival, Newport, Rhode Island. I love the quaintness. You don't need a P.O. box or a zip code or anything. Everybody in the mail system knows where the grounds were. So this was definitely one of the biggest events of Dylan's entire career. In fact, Dylan biographer Bob Shelton, who first broke him in the New York Times, was also here, and the way he stated it is one simple sentence. I love it. He says, this weekend Dylan went in an underground conversation piece and he left a star. And one of the things that helped, one of the crowning moments of the weekend was this famous shot where you've got Dylan on stage with, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Joan Baez, and Pete Seeger, and others singing We Shall Overcome, and Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind. So that's a very famous image that all Dylan fans are probably familiar with. But, Dylan's name was just on everybody's lips this weekend, singing his praises, and nobody more so than Joan Baez. I mean, she was really, just loving exposing Dylan to the folk world. And she was the reigning queen of folk music, needless to say. And this weekend, pretty much, she anointed Dylan the crown prince of folk music. As Shelton said, Dylan's apprenticeship was over. So about 50,000 people attended over the weekend, and it's hilarious. Every act on here, all the ovals, no matter who it was, got paid the same thing, $50. That's right, that's what they got paid, plus food, lodging, and some expenses. But, I just, that plus the $2 ticket price, I just love the naive quaintness and so forth. Now, we do have one tip, one caveat, if you will, for collectors. This paper poster, has been reproduced. It was reproduced in this outstanding, so not reproduced to like sell as a bootleg or something, but just really nicely reproduced in this Bob Dylan scrapbook, 1956 to 1966. Just a wonderful book. And as a matter of fact, if it's not too cumbersome, I'll show you when you open up the book. It's held by a piece of tape, as you can see, and it falls down there, and this is it. Of course, it's very clean white on the back, and this measures about 6 by 16 inches. So it's much smaller because, as I said, whoops, this bigger authentic paper one printed weeks before the weekend, probably June or May of 1963. This one is about 9 by 24 inches. So just be aware if you're out to get one, an original for your collection. So, boy, I'll tell you that the term "A Star Is Born" is thrown around quite a bit, but I think if you put Dylan's scholars together and you had to pick the moment or the weekend or the day that his star was really born, it would be the Newport Folk Festival of '63. So a really key Dylan piece, but also very important for things like the civil rights movement coalescing with the folk scene, which really got the message out nicely to the masses. Eric Von Schmidt, poster artist, with a lovely concert poster that I just love. I hope you do too. Hope you enjoy the video, and thanks a lot for coming by, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.